Hey everybody, what's going on? Avery Crawford here again. I just want to give you an update inside our reptile room. So we're constantly making changes and adapting to overcome issues that you don't initially see at first when you get into ball python breeding or rat breeding for that sake. Obviously rats are going to make a lot of mess. They urinate, they defecate, they spill their water bowl, and the bottom I constructed out of thin 1/4 inch plywood. So it absorbed a lot of moisture, it can smell bad, it gets mold, and it delaminates. So today what I'm doing is I got some tiling. These were actually getting thrown out, so this is recycled material. And I'm going to build a base layer so that way it's easier to clean the tub and we won't have the box delaminate on us anymore, because obviously I actually really like this thing and I'd hate to have to go through the trouble of making a new one. You know, it does cost money. This is like a $100 build, so obviously if I can help it, I want to try and preserve it. So like I mentioned earlier, you can see there's a lot of delamination in there. Their water bowl used to sit here, and then more recently I moved it back to the lower portion. So these are some bad portions of the wood that I just tore up, and the tile sits in there pretty nicely. For the most part, I don't really even have to trim any of the pieces. A couple of them have to get edged, but that's fine. I mean, it's only taken like a 1/4 inch off. I found the best thing to use that are my tin snips. Some people call them head shears, but these actually are specifically designed for cutting like tin, thin metals, things like that. So we're gonna go ahead and get into some of the build aspect, and I'll do a time lapse for you guys. Need more ammo. Okay, so that went pretty well. It's not perfect. I mean, obviously this isn't a kitchen floor or something where I'm going to have guests. It's really just to make cleaning the rat cage easier, and it's gonna make the wood last a lot longer. I'm sure at some point in the future I will have to replace it, although I did design it so that the bottom can come out. That way, if need be in the future, really the only thing I should have to replace is the bottom flooring as opposed to the rest of the cage. But let me give you a tour of the inside of the playpen. I went to Home Depot and purchased a series of 2x4 1/4 inch plywood paneling. This is a piece of Lexan, which is like a type of plexiglass, in addition to the top. I was able to get those from my previous job working at Huntsville Glass. We had a couple scrap pieces. These are actually both defective. They were just scratched, so we couldn't sell them to a customer. But anyway, it does the purpose of letting us have a good visibility of the animals, and of course they get a window to watch us out of. So inside here, we've got 2 playpen wheels, nothing fancy. You can go to pet store, Amazon, pretty sure sometimes you can even find them at Walmart, although I haven't seen too many of them. They get a lot of use. I built these 2 posts for resting on. Believe it or not, they do take naps in the corners, which is kind of cool. Problem was this box was creating so much moisture from the water bowl and of course them doing their business inside that I couldn't figure out a good way to get ventilation. So the obvious idea was to cut a big door, screen it, and then a couple other things had to happen as well. Haley and I went and got this air unit. It is a Aris brand. These are about $2,000. They do an awesome job. I wish I could explain some of the science behind it, but I'll have to do a breakdown video later. Basically, they're about 2 G's, but we went to a pet show and they were doing a $400 discount, so we got this for $1,600, and they threw in a smaller room unit, which we keep in our bedroom. It does a great job of keeping down the dust and dander, which obviously for us in our living situation, since this is an apartment, does an excellent job at keeping it from smelling, and that's like a big thing if you're going to have pets. And in addition to that, for the ventilation, over here, we went and put this fan at the doorway. So what it's going to do is this pretty much blows air in. So once we get this situated, I will I'll go ahead and show you guys how it works. Well, anyway, there you have it. That is a clean rat setup. We use softwood. In the past, we've used pine and cedar, but pine and cedar both contain resins that when they get wet, they produce a lot of fumes. Now, these are not necessarily toxic in small doses, but when that gets in the air and those animals are breathing a majority of that kind of natural off-gassing, it gets into your animal's lungs, and that's usually how you can develop a respiratory infection. It's just like you or me. You breathe in too much dust if it's cold outside, if you get any moisture in your lungs, same thing. But the problem is respiratory infections in small animals like this within a very short period of time can be lethal. So we switched to softwoods. Another excellent choice would be aspen. Aspen is another type of softwood that does not really have a large portion of resins inside of it. It's safe for a whole number of different animals. Another good choice is recycled paper. You'll usually go to the pet store and see it. Comes in these large bags. It kind of looks like colored confetti. That's recycled paper. It is like a compound paper that they use and they shred up and they turn it into that like soft pulp. But yeah, this is the playpen. All the adults that do our breeding, when they are not in the breeding rack, they're in here socializing. They get fresh water every day. They get fed twice a day. Rats are very energetic. They require a lot of food. You know, it's not just feed them once in a while, a few pellets here and there. Usually adequate amounts of exercise and of course food to compensate that. These guys are great. You know, they make awesome pets. The average lifespan for a rat is about 2 years. Some a little bit more, and unfortunately some a little bit less. So, you know, that's how you do it, guys. If you want to have a clean rat setup, build yourself one of these boxes. Maybe in the future I'll do a tutorial on the layout and design of it. That way, if any of you are interested, you can build your own. So until then, stay tuned.